Hi folks, today I'm going to talk about investing through the Gift City route. This is a two-part topic. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages for NRIs, and in the next session, I'll talk about investing for resident Indians. So Gift City stands for Gujarat International Finance Tech City, and it is India's first and only international financial services center. What is an IFSC? There are similar bodies which you might have heard of, like the Dubai International Financial Center or the Singapore Financial Center. These operate outside the domestic economic zone and they facilitate global financial activities. So, if you are trying to invest abroad from within India, or you're abroad and trying to invest into India, these act as places which work outside the normal rules and regulations. They facilitate much easier activity. So, for NRIs, Gift City acts as a gateway to invest in India efficiently because there are certain advantages. For example, you don't need a PAN, you don't need to file Indian tax returns, you have the option to move without usual Foreign Exchange Management Act related regulations. Even there are other benefits, like there's no requirement to open a separate Indian bank account. And the tax benefits are many, like there's no capital gains, there's no securities transaction tax, no stamp duty, etc. So these are some of the advantages which make it interesting for the NRI community. But the one thing which excites all of us is where the capital gains are exempt, our taxes are limited. So, what are these securities? So, there are bonds which are listed on an exchange which is based out of the IFSC, which is based out of Gift City. SBI has bonds, Axis has bonds which are listed here, and even Indian Oil has some bonds. There are other instruments like GDRs, foreign currency denominated bonds. If the derivatives are being traded on the IFSC exchange, then the gains you make here, these are also exempted. And what was interesting for me was the units of mutual funds or business trusts also are exempt from capital gains. What is not exempt is equity shares related gain. So even if these are traded via Gift City, you don't get the exemption. You have to pay the usual capital gains which is applicable on this. Now, I was looking for the list of live funds which are available here. So there are three funds which I found, which are funds run by Nippon India, SBI, and by Mirae India. Now, it's interesting to note that all three are in the format of AIFs, and these are Cat 3 AIFs. And who can invest here? There are NRIs, of course, but also foreign investors and corporates. And what do you get when you invest here? So let's say you are an NRI and you invested into the SBI Investment Opportunities Fund. They pool the money from people like yourself and then they use it to directly buy Indian equities or their derivatives. Whereas the Nippon Fund and the Mirae Fund further buy into their Indian funds. So I've taken the example of Nippon India Large Cap Fund via GIFT, where it's mentioned GIFT. This means that the investment is being done via GIFT City. Now, the first point is that the minimum investment is $150,000, which translates to 1.33 crore rupees. So I feel that some of my viewers may drop off at this point. But if you're still there, let's understand the other advantages. So the underlying fund, that is, all this money is pooled and then used to buy what? They used to buy units of the Nippon India Large Cap Fund. Now, investing into the Nippon Large Cap Fund directly versus via Gift City, what are the pros and cons? So here's a extract from a document released by Nippon AMC, and here they have given two examples. One is as if you're an NRI who's investing from Singapore, that is, you're based in Singapore and you're investing directly into the Nippon Large Cap Fund, or the other example is via the Gift City. Now, if you're investing directly into the Nippon Fund, the units that you purchase are exempt for taxation by Singapore. That is, under the India Singapore Treaty, you don't have to pay tax for those. But it is taxable by the Indian government. So, the gains that you make, whether they're short term or long term, are taxed here. And you need to have a PAN to start off the investments, and you are ideally required to file the income tax returns. Also, to add to the management fee, there's a GST component as well. Whereas if you go through the Gift City route, then everything is exempt. So you have 0% capital gains tax, 0% securities tax, 0% goods and services. So this is an example for Singapore, but it could be that your home country may charge you taxes for this. So please do check that point. To understand the impact of the taxation and the expense ratio, I made an illustration here. In this example, I've assumed that we are investing 1 crore. The return is 12%, an assumed return, and the period is 1 year. And these are the two options. One is the direct investment into the Nippon Large Cap Fund, and the other is into the Nippon Fund via the Gift City. So the initial investment is 1 crore for both. Annual gain at 12% is 12 lakhs for both. Therefore, the value at the end of 1 year is 1.12 crore. Now, the expense ratio is different for both. Here it is lower when you invest directly, it is 0.69%, whereas in the Gift City investment, it is 1.65%. Now, as per the document, it is 1.65% to 1.75%, and the exit load is also different depending on the type of option you choose for investment. Here, I've taken the lower expense ratio. So, the expense which is there at the end of 1 year is 77,000, whereas in Gift City is higher at 1.84 lakhs. As you would know, the expense ratio is actually applied on a daily NAV basis, but here for simplicity's sake, I've assumed that it gets applied at the end of the year. Therefore, my gain after expenses is 11.22 lakhs in the direct investment, whereas in Gift City it is only 10 lakh 15,000. Further to this, there is a tax component which is there. So I've assumed that the 1.25 lakhs exemption that we get is used only for this transaction. There's no other transaction where it is being used. So the taxable gain now comes down to 9.97 lakhs. On this, 12.5% tax is applicable. Therefore, my tax is 1.24 lakhs, and my gain from 1.12 crore gross now comes down to 1.09 crores. Whereas in the Gift City option, it is 10.15 lakhs is my gain, but there is no tax after that. So it remains there. Total corpus is 1.10 crore, and therefore I get a slightly higher gain in this example of 17,000. So this scenario may not be practical. So I've taken a few additional cases here. You can see that I've taken comparison across different return scenarios, which is 8%, 12%, and 15%. And I've taken years as 1, 3, and 5. So in the earlier example, which was there, we had taken 12% 1 year, and the Gift City scored slightly higher with a 17,000 gain. Whereas where the return scenario is lower at 8%, the Gift City fund does not score very high. It scores lower than the direct route. Whereas where the 15% gain is there, where I've assumed 15% gain, that is more gain, there the Gift City scores higher. This is because the tax savings grow faster than the drag created by the extra expense. So to summarize, the Gift City works well for NRIs because the process is simpler, the tax benefits are better, and you can get access to different kinds of financial instruments. However, the large minimum ticket size which is there, the lack of options, as we saw there are only 3 life funds at the moment, etc., should make you pause, analyze to the best extent possible, and then consider whether it is worth investing or not. So I hope this fund helps you in your investment journey. If you have any queries, please do drop a comment or write into us, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks for watching.